Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Ron Savage, and you take it easy. 2 hours of power. We're going to be talking about Trade Point Atlantic tonight. Trade Point Atlantic, for real.
Of WCBM, but they should be.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Super Citizen Radio. Baltimore is listening to Talk Radio 680 WCBM. It's time now for Super Citizen Radio. Here's your hosts, Pat and Valerie McDonough.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the program. A little bit different tonight than our usual show. Informative and educational, and also I think the best part about it is, there is so much bad news out there all the time. Every time.
Cosmo, what's up?
There's bad news about the cities, bad news about Baltimore City. I thought it was time to really have a little bit of good news, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about a project that is not only good news, but it's absolutely fascinating. To me, this project fascinates me. Creates a lot of jobs. We'll talk about all of that, how the jobs are created, and the history. I mean, this is, the way I look at this is like what made America great. These are the kind of things that made America great, where you would have something like a situation that was hopeless, that had no potential, that it's just not going to work, or we just can't fix it. And you hear that time after time, and our guest will tell us about that history a little bit because we all went through it. But then it works.
Yeah,
because
baby.
People are determined, they have a vision. It's always good to have a vision and make it work. So this is a fascinating story, and this is what makes our country so great, and this is what gives us potential to do this sort of thing in different places. But what I'm talking about is Trade Point Atlantic, which I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but it is where the Bethlehem Steel, the famous Bethlehem Steel at Sparrows Point, down on the water, down in Dundalk. This is that area down there. We have with us tonight my good friend, been my friend for a long time, Aaron Tamarchio. And Aaron, what is your official title?
Yes. And tonight's subject is the
Okay,
Trade
we have
Point
Aaron
Atlantic.
tonight. Now,
You said you
this is just a great story. How long have you been there? How long have you
yeah,
been
he was, but he
with
told me,
this
yeah, Baltimore
project? When
State
did this
Trade Point
project
Atlantic.
really kick off?
So the project kicked off right about this.
It's where Bethlehem Steel used to be, and they put new things in it. Yeah.
This is when the mill at Can in 2012, obviously was the
Oh, yeah.
year that the mill's in operation. And I was invited to a meeting back in late June 2014. In that meeting, I realized that they were discussing the acquisition of Sparrows Point and what we would eventually do.
You could start with
So,
Trade Point. They've
I've
already
been with
started with
the
Trade Point
project
Atlantic.
ever since then, so going on 6 years.
Something else.
Now, it just seems that it's been longer, but 6 years, so much has been
Yeah,
accomplished.
they just knocked down the old
Our
Bethlehem
listeners
Steel,
to
and they're
our
gonna, but
program,
it's
we're
gonna be
follow
like the
It's
shots when
different
they
than
come
what we
down
usually do.
where
There's gonna be a bunch of
the can company used to be in
And
Canton.
if you're going to call in, you must call in on the subject. You cannot call in about Joe Biden or President Trump or anything like
Well,
that.
I mean, you can
You
switch
are
back
welcome
and
to
forth.
call in about this, which is a fascinating subject. Now, Aaron, there was a lot of taking you back to
What,
the
right
time
now?
you just mentioned the 2014 RG Steel.
Yeah.
For many, many years.
but
this
you're number one
property,
caller.
which at one time employed 30,000 people.
If I were you, I would love to hear what you have to say. But I'm telling you, it's the secret way to get on these on and they have to be talking about it the whole hour. It was Trade Point Atlantic.
But there were a variety of attempts to restore it or do something with it. The Russians owned it at one time or something. RG Steel, different.
That's great.
It just
The
could not
commercials,
make
come
it.
on, I'll put them on 20 or 30.
You're right, Pat. And first of all, thank you for having me on the show and the ability to be able to just talk about what's going
Okay,
on at
thank you.
Sparrows Point. I think I agree with
That's
that. It's a
beautiful.
good news story.
I knew you could do it. I knew it.
Baltimore. The mill really, the Bethlehem
So, right?
Steel ceased owning Sparrows Point.
22.
in the early 2000s. So from the early 2000s,
No, I can't do it.
2000,
I'm a couple
We've
decades
had
older.
5 successive owners trying to make.
But then I sound like it. You know, there's some people say David Cassidy, and I go, what?
It was a white elephant.
It was, and
All right.
different owners, and at each time,
Well, you
less
sound much
people worked
younger
there.
than that.
And by the time the mill had
I'm
closed in
57.
2012, it was about
That's it.
2,500 people working.
The much.
Now,
Okay, thank you.
you attended this meeting,
Okay.
and people there had an idea.
Wow, man. Wow,
You
man.
know, who were these people?
So I was actually employed by Ericsson Living at the time. Ericsson is another company that's owned by a larger company called Redwood
There it
Capital
is.
Investments. And
Let's see what's
I
coming.
had just been
Once I had
outside of
everybody,
county
you
government.
know.
I had served as chief of staff
Christ.
in Harford County for 9 years.
Right, and you were
Yeah.
at the state too, because I used to work with
Yep.
you with planning quite a bit.
Yep.
So you were at the state first with Governor Ehrlich, and then you went to Hartford County.
Yep,
Okay.
with David Craig, and I had just kind of started this job with Ericsson Living, and I was invited to this meeting, and Redwood was in discussions with the owners of Sparrows Point at the time, and they were talking about the acquisition and kind of what we could do with it. And there had been, when the mill closed, there was an effort by Baltimore County and the surrounding regional economic development officials to look at Sparrows Point and figure out what could be done with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Was
the
that
Sparrows Point
Kevin
Partnership.
Kamenetz?
Mhm.
It was Kevin. Yeah, I remember that.
It was
Right.
Kevin, the Greater Baltimore Committee. It was a pretty big effort.
Yeah, it was a very serious effort that, for so many frustration, we got to do something here.
Mhm.
I remember that.
And he put some smart people in the room and said, let's look at Sparrows Point, let's look at the assets, and what do you think we could make here? And basically they were looking at a scenario where they would keep it industrial, because to me, industrial development means jobs. I mean, it's jobs you're talking about, and I know that they wanted to make sure that Sparrows Point remained a job center, and that was one of the considerations. And then I think the next step was to look at the assets of the deepwater port, the rail connectivity, the highway connectivity, the fact you had 3,300 acres industrial zoned, within a day's drive of a third of the U.S. population, perfectly centered for distribution,
So
manufacturing,
somebody
logistics.
finally,
Yeah.
after all the things this way, that way, looked at what this really was. They had the vision.
Took a big picture view and said, okay, if we can't make steel here work anymore, what can come?
We got to make jobs.
We got to make jobs, and what can bring jobs? And not only that, Pat, let's bring back in multiple industries, not just one industry occupying 3,300 acres.
That was interesting too, because at one time that's what Baltimore City and the Baltimore surrounding area was famous for. I know young people today would not remember this, but we were a diversified economic environment. We had the Chevrolet plant, we had the steel plant, we had the big electric company, Western Electric or something. We had so many different things. So when you have that diversity, you really open things up. So that was a smart idea, instead of saying, all right, we're going to bring in Chevrolet or somebody and they're going to take up the whole 3,100 acres.
That's correct, and I think it helps insulate the economy from ups and downs of different industries.
Yeah,
and also it diversifies the type of jobs that could be available for for the regional employment. So, I think that was important, leveraging the assets, and then the other key factor, which really was discussed, is how do you handle the environmental.
Yeah, that was a big
challenge. It made
challenge.
steel there for 125 years, and part of that, there was no EPA, so the mill did what it wanted to do at the time. So I think unlocking how you clean up 3,300 acres, and then getting private sector dollars to put their money into doing
It's something that has to be cleaned up before you even start making money.
That's correct.
That's a big challenge.
It took a huge commitment and a huge risk for private capital to come in and do this.
Now, who are the people involved generally? Aren't there some local investments involved with this project?
It is. Redwood is got its roots here locally.
Good.
It is a outgrowth of the ownership of Jim Davis, who is the co-founder of the Legis Group, who founded his company with his cousin Steve Bisciotti, I think in a townhouse near Annapolis, and grew the
So
company. to
that
be very
Steve
successful.
Bisciotti is the owner of the Braves.
The Ravens.
The Ravens. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
there's a connection there.
The Bravens.
So yeah,
the
so
Bravens.
that Redwood kind of grew out of the
So it's
success
local,
of what the
which-
Legis Group was.
Which is important.
It is local commitment, a lot of local jobs. If you actually look around the Baltimore region, and you look at the footprint Allegis Group has with Aerotech and Tech Systems, and then you look at Erickson Living, which has communities in Catonsville and Parkville and in Montgomery County and all around the country. It was committed
Is
local
Erickson
capital.
Living part of this?
Erickson Living is part of the parent company that owns Trade Point Atlantic.
Now, what is the name of the man? Is it Erickson? I mean, that founded Erickson Living. Isn't he a local guy too?
Yeah, John Erickson,
John
was
Erickson,
who
right.
founded it, but
Leave Erickson.
Redwood came
Leave
in
Erickson.
and purchased
Mike
Erickson
Hackner. Hey,
Living,
Mike.
So there's a
Hello, Mike
there's a local
Hackner.
connection here.
big local connection.
And,
and
but
local commitment.
it takes a lot of courage. It's really, you've got this huge property.
2 minutes.
At the time, there's not a whole lot going on.
Mhm.
And you've got environmental stuff, which is mystery. You're not sure what the hell is there. It's a hell of a challenge. I mean, the success of this thing is really amazing. This is why I wanted to have you on, because it is a story that really takes some time to talk about. And it's right in our backyard
Mhm.
at a time when we are discouraged about a lot of things. And it's a huge, tremendous success story. So you get into it, you've got 3,100 acres here. 3,300 acres, and you've got this environmental challenge. How did you go about figuring out what was there, or what was, like you say, it was a steel plant all these years, and in the old days they didn't care about the environment, so they did what they wanted to do. So you had to figure out what is where, and how bad is it, and how do you get it?
What is where, man?
Well, there's
What is
multiple
where?
layers to this conversation, and we can probably unpack it a little bit during our time together. But I think what you look at is, first of all, you had the steel mill, and prior to the steel mill closing, they were under several environmental orders to do cleanup. And during that time where they were working with EPA, they did a lot of studies of generally on where some of the contaminants were. That was one thing. The other thing was, the mill kept great records. You generally knew what operations were happening in the part of the mill, what
Man,
chemicals
I'll
they
tell you what.
typically
You had a
would
map.
use.
Horrible.
Generally a map, yeah, absolutely.
Mike Hackner.
And then the third piece is getting verification of all of that information. We had two separate engineering companies come in, study the data, do some little preliminary investigations, and
Amazing.
then compare them to make sure that they were, we were seeing the
Accurate.
same things and they were accurate. Absolutely. So a lot of trust but verify had to go into that, and then that helped inform generally what we thought we would need to clean up the property. So
Was it more than you thought, or you just weren't sure and didn't know?
it's 6 years in, it's a little more than we thought, but we knew that going in that it may take a little bit more.
But you did a lot.
But we have done a lot. There's been a great deal amount of cleanup going on.
Have you done a
of
lot?
success stories around the Tin Mill Canal and the cleanup that's happened there. I think when you talk to some of the local residents, even they say that the water is cleaner. They're starting to see grasses coming back in and around the area. So the impact of the actual operation that occurred is, now that it's ceased and we're cleaning up the land, they're starting to see some life coming back, which is good. I think good for all of us.
It's amazing. It really is. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to take a look at most of the questions I have and the information I have was from a lecture that Aaron did at the plant, which was a lot of information, and it's what that really put me at the position where I wanted to share this with the public, because I don't think enough people know. I mean, like 10,000 people listen to the show, so it's a lot of people are going to be listening to
Lots
it.
of people.
But anyway, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Ron, who is this Rebecca? What does she want to talk about?
Oh, Trade Point Atlantic.
Wait a minute. What does she want to talk about?
Trade Point Atlantic.
What?
Trade Point Atlantic in Baltimore.
Oh, When your vehicle needs help, Jeff's Automotive Services is the place to go.
Trade Point
Your
Atlantic.
vehicle will be worked on by Automotive Service ASE certified technicians. Jeff services
No,
all
no, not
vehicles,
that.
including cars, SUVs, trucks, both medium and light duty, and there are always specials available at Jeff's Automotive Services. Just call 410-682-5700. Jeff's Automotive Services is locally owned and conveniently located in the heart of Essex at 313 Mace Avenue. Jeff's is the winner of the Best Automotive Service Award for 2019 by the Avenue Newspaper's Readers Poll. Jeff's offers 10% discounts to all seniors and active military members and would like to thank our military members for their service. Jeff's Automotive Services has a name you can trust. Remember, call 410-682-5700 for Jeff's Automotive Services.
Is America in a new Cold War with China? Stealing our technology, spying on our devices, helping our enemies like North Korea, taking over Hong Kong. Now President Trump is fighting back. But Sean Spicer asks if Trump can really stop China. Tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, watch Sean Spicer's new show Spicer and Company as he tackles the tough questions and finds out the shocking answers about China. See Spicer and Company on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel. Millions of Americans
What's up, everybody? Doing all right.
TV for the real story. And to see great shows with great people like Mike Hudson, Michelle Long, Diamond and Silk, Alan Dershowitz, and more. You can find Newsmax on direct.
They gotta dredge it so they can.
Xfinity,
That's right, Mike. That's true.
102, FiOS 615, Uverse 1220, Cox, Spectrum, Wow, Armstrong, or check your cable guy. And don't forget to download Newsmax's free app on your smartphone and start watching anytime, anywhere. Because Newsmax TV is real news for real people.
The University of Maryland Global Campus was established to bring a respected state university education to working adults at home and abroad. 70 years ago, we sent professors overseas to educate service members and their families on military installations and on the front lines. Today, we're online because that's where working adults need us, that's where you need us. We'll support your commitment to being a successful student with services that fit your lifestyle. And we offer more than 90 programs and specializations for where you are and where you want to be. University of Maryland University College is now University of Maryland Global Campus.
Right.
We go the distance because times have changed, but what we're made for hasn't. Learn the latest skills to get moving and get ahead. Earn an undergraduate or graduate degree or certificate from the university that has been a pioneer in online learning for over 20 years. Classes start August 31st. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Who at Twitter and at Facebook is the medical expert here? No need for a second opinion. It's a very relevant question. His is the only one that counts. This is proving that all of this is politics. All of this is. It's not about health. Rush Limbaugh. It's not about medicine. It is about making sure that whatever hydroxychloroquine's positive characteristics are, that nobody hears about them.
80 WCBM worldwide at WCBM.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Pat McDonough, Valerie McDonough, Super Citizen Radio. Program a little bit different tonight. We're talking about a great asset.
Trade Point
And,
Atlantic. That's what they're talking about.
Not only is it a great asset for jobs, and that's what everything's all about, jobs, but the fact that for a long time it was not. And when we look at different potential in this country and in this area, in this state, we say, oh, well, that can't be done. We can't do that. But that's what in America we call exceptionalism. When Obama said, well, you didn't build that. Well, no, we built it. Nobody else built it. We built it. And Trade Point Atlantic, I think, falls into that category. And our special guest is Aaron Tamarchio. And Aaron, we have a call. So let's see what Rebecca, who's actually in Pennsylvania, has to say. Good evening, Rebecca.
Go, Rebecca.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I don't know that much about it, but I know about how things have gone in Baltimore City. So I want to ask you, are the roads and everything viable for this project?
That's a good question.
It's a great question, and yes, they are in some part. When you look at 3,300 acres, you're basically redeveloping a town.
The roads, man. The roads.
And we've been there. It's big.
Yeah, and Spurs Point was a town, actually. People lived there and worked there. It was a proverbial steel town.
That was
And
the old concept, yeah.
they did. And when you were moving 30,000 people in and out, you had to have a pretty substantial road infrastructure. For us...
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Well, we got to answer this one, Rebecca,
Yeah.
so hold on.
Okay, I'll wait.
No worries, no worries. But for us, the road infrastructure leading up to the property was pretty well intact. What we needed to do internally is reconfigure the road system. The road system was configured for a steel mill, so we needed to reconfigure the road system to be able to support the type of development plan that we had. So the answer is yes and no, but
Well, there still
roadway
needs
is
to
pretty
be
good
more,
there.
but
Yeah.
it's pretty good right now.
Absolutely.
And this is 702. 702, the road is the extension of the Beltway. And this goes down to where the old North Point Road used to go, which still does, and it's still a good road.
Yeah.
And so all of this stuff is being developed is all at the end of those two roads.
And we literally have two exits off of 695.
Correct?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rebecca.
You might be able to use federal money to do this, correct?
What kind of money?
Federal.
Oh, we see that in the past. We've done a show, on Saturday speaking of Thompson.
I mean, it's extension of a
Hey,
highway.
Pastor Liz, how you
might be able
doing?
to use federal money,
let me-
correct?
Interesting enough, we
thank you,
did.
Rebecca.
We did actually. We applied for a federal grant, Tiger grant, that we submitted with Baltimore County, and that Tiger grant was developed to actually help rehabilitate our Deepwater Borough,
Okay, Pastor,
because
you
that's
hold on,
the
I'll put
other
you on.
infrastructure asset.
You're welcome.
that was
And we're
very
going to talk about that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, we actually got a $20 million Tiger grant a couple years
Now,
ago.
let me ask you this. One of the things that's really popular is this
One,
that
two,
the
three, four.
president has put together are these enterprise zones.
Mhm.
Now, at any point, are you involved with an enterprise zone down there?
The entire Spurs Point Peninsula is an enterprise
How
zone.
about that?
Yep.
Now, that gives you a lot of benefits.
It does. It gives our tenants benefits to be able to come and
And
locate
it's
there.
30.
And I'll talk about the incentives real quick. And I know some people have different views on them, but when you're redeveloping a brownfield site, there is so much additional money that goes into taking that site and making it developable than
Right.
a greenfield site. So that when you can help reduce the cost of a company locating to your area, through an incentive like an enterprise zone program, it helps make the case of why you need to be here. And I think it's been a very successful program that Baltimore County and the state of Maryland extended to the property.
And this is also another, it's all good news.
Yeah, good
Okay.
news.
Democrats and the Republicans worked together on this issue.
1, 2, 3,
which
4.
is very highly unusual, of course, but they did because they could see that this was something that had been a problem. A lot of people, they're taking it for granted.
no.
I know people go down there and they visit and they say, "Oh my God, this is beautiful! Look at all these developments. It's wonderful," and it, like it just happened. No, it didn't. It was a vision. It was a lot of hard work, and prior to that, there was a lot of trouble. So Kevin, who was a Democrat, and although some of our we were very good, close personal friends with Kevin.
Come on.
And he worked hard to try to get that done. But that was a bipartisan effort. I think that's important and unusual, certainly unusual today.
It's been bipartisan entirely, from the White House to the State House to the courthouse. That Tiger grant I mentioned was a Tiger grant that was issued under the Trump administration. And then you had the governor, who, with his help, has been very supportive of the project through all the different agencies that we touch, from the Department of the Environment to the Department of Transportation, all the way down to Baltimore County, and what they do in the permitting side of the house, making sure that the permits are going through and reviewed timely. When we put our minds together collectively and agree on something, we can accomplish amazing things.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always felt that way. That's why I get so discouraged sometimes. I mean, you and I, we worked together many years ago with the state of Maryland, and I know I called upon you many times. You were with planning, yeah, which is something that's creative in government. Planning, you looks at everything. So you brought a lot of experience to this position. Now, we're going to have to shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
Because our favorite pastor has joined us, Pastor David Lewis, who always has a good message.
Go on, Pastor Lewis. Go, Pastor Lewis.
Pastor Lewis, how are you tonight?
I'm fine, Pat and Valerie, and it's good to hear you, Mr. Martio. And you don't have to shift gears. I'm right on with you fellas on this one. You know, it's time for Baltimore to make a comeback. And I think this is a step in the right direction. I get a lot of people, they come to my church, and maybe they're new to the area, maybe they're young folks, they're looking for work, and you know, they need to know what's available for them. So I know we're still in the forefront of all of this, but what is public transportation like down to that area, not from the city, but from Baltimore County? I have people here in Baltimore County who can't get around too well. So what is
Good question.
affordable housing would be another question.
Okay, Aaron, transportation, public transportation, buses, that sort of thing, yeah. And I think we've done a lot with that.
We have, and transportation is key. It's key for several reasons. One, it's access to workforce, and that is one of the considerations that companies make when they choose a location. They want to make sure there's different ways for their employees to be able to do their jobs in a timely fashion. Secondly, you know, Sparrows Point was a regional employer, so it employed people from Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Anne Arundel, Hartford, and there was mass transit options to locate to Sparrows Point. In fact, some people say you could come years ago. You could go to Sparrows Point by rail. They called it the Red Rocket, and it would come by rail, over to Sparrows Point. And you know, when the mill was declining, there was bus service that was coming to Sparrows Point, and then that had ceased. So we had worked with MTA to bring back bus service to Sparrows Point.
Here we go.
We started with Local Link 63, which does come out of Baltimore City and hubs at Bayview and goes through Old Dundalk, comes down Peninsula Expressway and hits several of the stops on.
That's another important road, Peninsula Expressway.
Absolutely. So that is the fastest growing new service that MTA started. And it continues to grow today through the demand for the public transportation. The other thing we have on our wish list, and to your question, Pastor, is to get an east side connection connecting Baltimore County, connecting White Marsh, Essex, Middle River, back down to Sparrows Point. Because to me, we want a west side connection, we want an east side connection.
Now, how does that work on the west side, or is that considered the east side when you go to White Marsh and up that way?
Yeah, I'll call that the east side.
All right,
So
I understand. It is the east side of the county.
Yep.
And you're talking about bus system that would connect in there?
Yeah, it's a MTA bus system that would connect into different parts of the community to bring people to work. I do know some of our tenants are using chartered service to help, kind of supplement the bus system that's there because the demand is so high. So they hire a charter bus to go to a specific community where everybody meets, and then they bring them directly to the site.
That would also go and have a lot of people from our side of town, the east side of town, going to work there without,
Essex, Middle River, going up towards White Marsh, even towards Perry Hall.
Yeah.
And that's where Pastor Lewis is. Go ahead.
And what's interesting about that is, it would be really good. They could all meet at White Marsh Mall because they all have the park and ride and just hop the bus and get down there. That could even bring people in from Harford County.
Absolutely.
It's all right here, Debbie. Hallelujah.
Will. And I think
Baltimore
County has done a great job helping build out Route 43.
Oh,
and,
my God.
That's
and
wonderful.
Connecting that. I mean, that's just, we call what is happening in White Marsh, Route 43, and Sparrows Point, the two ends of the bookends. And how do we connect people to those job opportunities? And that's the key factor. Not only for
what the hell's going on?
better
I know people are saying hi to me. I can't see them. Where
but also
Mike Heckner again.
They want to make sure they can access.
There she is. Hey, Candace, how you doing, baby? All right, you're fantastic.
Lewis, what else is on your mind this evening?
All right, there you go, eh?
Real quick, September 11th is coming up this week.
Oh, man.
What time is that, Pastor?
From 7 until 9 p.m.
There you are.
Our speakers will be Michael Anthony Peruca and also Phil Webster.
Michael Anthony Peruca.
And he is going to do the Lighthouse of the First Amendment as his talk this year. So it'll be nice. Come on out. We honor the Lord. We sing patriotic songs for our country. We have it outside so the community can
Well,
see
there they
what's
are.
going on.
Well, you want to tell them about it, Valerie?
Yes,
Val.
I want to let everybody else know that we're also having our, I believe it's our 18th year, our 9/11 event at,
Yes.
at 152
Yes.
and 95. It's between Baltimore County and Harford County, and we're going to be having the fire engines, and it's going to be from 4 to 6 in the afternoon. And I'm inviting everybody to come out and see us.
Here come us
because
this.
It's a beautiful, beautiful sight to see all those American flags flying.
Yeah, it's and we can then go down and see Pastor Lewis in his event. But Pastor,
Yeah.
if you want to spread the word, your folks are certainly welcome, like everybody else. Totally non-political. You can only bring Old Glory, only Glory flags. It's on the 152 overpass, which is not really used these days, and it's a Friday. I believe it's a
I
Friday.
believe it is too, and it's plenty of free parking.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Pastor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Pastor.
While we're talking about it, the 152 overpass, the park and
It
ride
is.
is there.
Coming up, 9/11
And,
once again.
Different politicians
Candy.
over the years have come there.
Come
both
on, sit
Democrats
high.
and Republicans. You bring your flag, you bring your family, you bring your dogs. No cats, please. But
Yeah, I'm okay.
you can bring a cat if you're a cat lover. But
Can't
and
stand
the
'em.
children, it's a wonderful experience because it's from 4 till 6 this year because it is a Friday. But it's amazing because you're on that bridge, and I'll tell you a couple quick stories about it. But the vehicles are coming north and south, and they're from all over the country because it's 95.
No.
And the horns never stop blowing. Horns, and this is 18 years. One year I was there, and a guy came up to me. It's about 200 people. It's a lot of people that show up. The fire engines show up with the gigantic flags, and this guy, he actually had tears streaming down his cheeks. And he said, "They told me you, organizer, I want to thank you. Can I go around and shake everybody's hand?" I said, "Yeah, certainly if you want to do that." He said, "I would like to." He said, "You see that car down on the road on the side there?" I said, "Yes." He said, "That's my car." I said, "Well, how the hell did you get up here?" He said, "I climbed all the way up that hill to get up here." Because he said, "I didn't know how to get up here." He said, "I'm a doctor, and I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and my brother was the pilot of the plane that was flown into the Pentagon, and it just, you moved me so much when I saw this." And so he went around, and he was shaking everybody's hand. One time we were there, and this young man brought his great-grandfather to the bridge, and he was in full uniform, and his uniform still fit. from
Can't
the
take it
Second
in there,
World War.
Gubby.
And
Can't
he
take it anymore, man.
was
No
a
more.
in a Nazi prison camp.
Whoa.
Okay, and he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner. So when you're in the presence of a Congressional Medal of Honor winner, if you're military, which I am, you have to stand at attention and salute, even if it's a general, even if you're a general and he's a private, you got to salute him.
Yeah.
So I talked to his son, I talked to him, and he was he had sunglasses on, and his grandson said he was blind, and you could hear the cars and the flags waving and everything. And I said to him, it always makes me emotional when I tell this story. I said, "I'm sorry, sir, that you can't see this because it's a beautiful sight." And he said, "I can see it." It just like blew me away, you know. And the one final story is the first year we were there, we were on the, and this is right after 2001, this is 2002. So the emotion is in the air. And we were concluding the 2 hours or whatever it was, and we were singing the national anthem, and two beautiful eagles flew over top of us, and the children were pointing out us too. And I said, this is a sign, a good sign, or whatever.
Good sign.
And I said, this is just like a miracle from God. And one of the volunteer firefighters come and said, "Mr. McDonough, they live here. They fly over every day at 6 o'clock."
This is true story.
We just didn't know, but we were all excited.
Yeah, it's still a great sight.
I remember that overpass. Having been in Harford County, when I saw that flag the first time after 9/11, it really made you feel good.
It does.
In fact, David Craig was there a number of times.
Yeah.
He was there. All right, so we got to take a break, Ron, and is the Krabby Creek coming up?
Yes, he'll be the first commercial right after the weather.
Well, when he's done, I'll make the announcement at the end when we come back, all right?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Showers and storms expected to roll through the
Crabby
region
Creek's going
overnight
on,
tonight, so
Barry.
the rain could be heavy at times. Lows tonight down to 68. Cloudy with showers for Sunday, with Sunday's high 77, northeasterly breeze. Few clouds Sunday night, low 65, and Monday a mix of clouds, a few showers during the day with a high 84. Tuesday sunny 87. Showers and storms return midweek. Richard Wedding at the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
The Krabby Creek, baby.
Wow, this is one of the best crab cakes in town. That's what you will say after having a great crab cake at the Krabby Creek. Krabby Creek is open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturdays from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And here's where it really gets great. The Krabby Creek caters 7 days a week. Just
Good commercial.
410,
Great place. Krabby Creek.
9144 for your catering needs. There is also a full menu available from the Greek-style octopus to that great crab cake we talked about. Plus, there is live entertainment. You can enjoy authentic Greek music in the comfortable outdoor dining room. For more information, call 410-494-9144. Once again, the number is 410-494-9144.
Right.
Do something special. Check out the Krabby Creek. Yes, our good friends at the Krabby Creek, great crab cakes over there. And we want to announce something. Monday through Friday, they are open from 9 in the morning till 9 in the evening. And on Friday nights, they have live Greek music, which is much better, I can tell you, than deceased Greek music. It's live Greek music. And tonight, Saturday night, I think they have the DJ. They have the DJ.
Tonight's the DJ.
Have the DJ, but they're closed at 10 o'clock, so you and I could go over there, have a romantic interlude and dance to the DJ.
Yeah.
But they're going at 10 o'clock. So that's not going to happen. But anyway, that's the Krabby Creek. And you want to stay back on the air, Ron, or you want to do more spots?
Oh, we got a bunch of spots coming up.
All right, go right ahead. Have my permission.
Yeah.
This is Derek Hunter. Joining me on the phone right now is Ronnie McMullen. He is the proprietor of GetTheTea.com. That's where you get your Life Change Tea. Ronnie, tell everybody what Life Change Tea is all about.
This is a digestive tea. This is something, our tagline is the tea that makes you go. It's gentle, it's nice, it gets things moving. We have a lot of worry with everything going on in the world right now. It stops your digestion. Guess what? The tea is going to make you go. It's going to make you do well. It's going to give you a lot of benefits that I can't even talk about on the radio. So, and I have a special. I have a special called B+. So it's bee pollen, organic bee pollen, essential bees, which is like a bee complex, and then a month's supply of tea, all for a low price. You just go to getthetea.com. You scroll down, front page, there it is.
And you enter promo code HUNTER at checkout. You get free, fast shipping. Go to getthetea.com. Makes you feel so much better. Getthetea.com. Don't forget promo code HUNTER. Click apply for free shipping.
Guys, you've heard me ask two questions for years. Has the little blue pill let you down? And are you having trouble in the bedroom? Well, let us at MyMen'sClinic.com help you to gain your independence and stand tall again. Come on in. See our licensed medical staff. You will see results then and there, or that appointment is absolutely free. Guys, that's free. Why should she have to say, we can try again next time? When what she wants to say, what you want to hear is wow. Now, you can book online or give us a call. The appointment's only $149. But guys, that's only if you see a positive result. Schedule online or give us a call. You got nothing at all to lose and everything to gain. Guys, book online at MyMen'sClinic.com or call 443-892-7292. Again, MyMen'sClinic.com or call 443-892-7292. Guys, let's fix it for her. It's not hard.
Are you always apologizing for your dog's behavior? Need help communicating? At Canine Concepts, we can solve your problems. The answer to your problems is a phone call away. Call 410-477-2000 for a free demo evaluation. Call 410-477-2000. obedience protection, handicapped assistance, boarding, grooming, puppy preschool. Visit canineconcepts.com. The best for your dog. Call 410-477-2000.
Trust is a big issue when selling your home. Hi, it's Sean Casey for the agent I trust, Vinny Steele with RE/MAX Community, Maryland's real estate authority. You know, moving can be stressful. Let Vinny Steele help you sell your home at your price and within your time frame, and with no hassles. Vinny helps hundreds of families each year, while your average agent sells just 3 homes a year. Vinny and his team provide incredible service and communication. You'll be blown away with his unique systems and the ways he gets you the most money possible for your home. Vinny has over 12,000 ready buyers looking to buy right now. And he'll guarantee to sell your home at an agreed upon price, or he'll buy it. Guaranteed. So call Vinny Steele right now at 410-793-1616. That's 410-793-1616. Or go to VinnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's VINNY, hasthebuyers.com, and start packing.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there. You can say, how are you, or get a free tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheopera.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Have your finances been impacted by the COVID-19 coronavirus? Don't assume your credit cards and loans should come last when prioritizing your bills. They are not automatically protected if you can't pay, and there are programs that can help. If you are experiencing a reduction in income, loss of a job, or any difficulty paying your bills, the NFCC can help. We have a national network of nonprofit financial counselors who can assist you and work with your creditors on your behalf during this difficult time to get you the plan you need. Nonprofit financial counseling won't put you deeper in debt, and we aren't offering risky debt elimination schemes. Instead, we are your financial advocate, providing real solutions for real challenges. Don't wait for things to get worse.
Yeah,
Connect with a
baby.
nonprofit counselor today. Call the toll-free number on your screen or visit nfcc.org/Ray
Checkles,
to learn more.
Dear VetTix, it was nice to spend the night with my daughter and other veterans. It's so humbling to attend an event when you feel appreciated.
I had a wonderful time with my family. Thank you for the memories, VetTix. Dear VetTix, thank you for a great experience.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show.
Thank you so much, Betsy.
Yeah, this is
Our
hold
family's
on,
gone through a lot
I
of
get you, hold on real quick. What's your name?
This gave us a nice break.
Hey, Dave.
Every
From
empty seat
Pennsylvania?
at a concert, game, or special event is a missed opportunity to say thank you to a veteran or a serviceman. By giving your
Okay, and what's your
extra tickets to
subject
VetTix, you'll help America's heroes reduce stress, strengthen family bonds, and create a truly happy memory that will last a lifetime. So when you really want to say thank you,
Tonight we're talking about
give the experience.
the Trade Point Atlantic. Oh, hold on, please. Hold on one second.
Give something to those who give. For more information on how you can make a difference, go to vettix.org.
And now back to Super Citizen Radio on Talk Radio 680 WCBM. Worldwide at WCBM.com.
Go.
Okay, we are back, and we've got a lot of interesting questions to ask. Aaron,
Okay, Dave, I'll
Aaron,
get you right
one
on.
of the things when I was listening
you're welcome.
to your lecture, 18 million square feet, the number came up. Is that the number of square feet that are now occupied by active businesses?
That's the number of square feet we believe will be fully built out.
Oh, fully built out.
Right. Right now, we have about 8 million square feet that have been constructed between 2014 to today. That's occupied by a number of tenants.
1, 2, 3,
including
4.
Amazon, Under Armour, Floor & Decor, Home Depot, Gotham Greens,
Royal
the
Farm.
Safeway, Royal Farm. So we have about 20 active tenants, totaling about 8,000 jobs right now on site.
Are you going to be putting a food store in?
You mean a grocery store?
Yeah.
We hope so. We do have a vision for the retail section. There is a portion of Bethlehem Boulevard that fronts 695 that we've slated for retail. Our first retail tenant opened up back in June, a full-scale Royal Farm store, very popular when it first opened, and that's the first step in that direction. And we're actively planning what the next phase is going to look like. Because when you bring what we believe will be ultimately over 10,000 employees to one location, they're going to need amenities nearby, whether it's food and gas, or a dock.
It's like
in
a
the
small
box.
town.
You know,
absolutely.
something that I think would be an interesting concept, if you would put something there like an avenue, because a lot of times employees, they want to go
You're talking about the shopping center avenue concept up around the White Marsh Mall?
Yeah. Something like
could
that.
it accommodate something like that?
Well, we're going to accommodate something like that. I think we all know retail's taken a real big hit.
Not now,
in this,
yeah.
in this
It is,
economy.
but up the road, you know, when you have Christmas time, people don't feel like going to the malls. They're going to go home, you know, and that is
Well,
right
that's the question.
Yeah,
you had mentioned in your discussion, I guess off in the future, but it's such a big property. You had actually talked about an office building, childcare, even a hotel possibility down there. And when do you plan all that, or that just as it's another vision for the future as other things get built out?
Well, we have a lot going on right now, but this is something we're actively planning, laying out what we think the footprint would look like for these potential buildings, and then we're going to actively go to market with them soon and see what the market looks like. You're right off 695. I mean, you're within a stone's throw of 695, easy on, easy off. We're one of the only exits off of 695 you can get on and off as easy as you can.
It is very, it
Within a minute.
is really, yeah, it's very easy to access this huge complex. You can even go down Old North Point Road, which doesn't have a whole bunch of traffic lights, and right next to it is the 702 extension.
Yes, it
you
is.
know, and of course, if people are trying to think about this, if you've been over the Key Bridge,
All right.
the Key Bridge, if you look to your left or your right, whether you're coming or going, that big peninsula out there and all those new buildings you see, that is Trade Point Atlantic.
That is correct.
Yes.
The Ferris Point Peninsula.
Now you are on the water, and this
Freddie
is
Herman. Freddie Herman.
I know you have some big plans, and you have some stuff going on related to the water, besides just these other businesses, which we'll talk about them individually. But this was a shipbuilding site at one time, and you have what they call a dry dock there. Yeah, and a big dry dock, a really big dry dock. And are you going to do shipbuilding there, or what are your plans for the commercial part of this development, which is on a big piece of water?
So what's so exciting about Ferris Point and the redevelopment is there's so many facets of industry, from the distribution and manufacturing possibilities to the marine terminal aspects to the shipyard. There's so many different areas of industry that can be fostered there, and we do have a plan to rehabilitate the dry dock, as we call it. The dry dock is about 1,200 feet long, about 200 feet wide.
1,200 feet, that's 3 football fields.
It's huge. It's
huge,
and it's
man.
got a depth of about 36 feet. And right now, if you go and drive over to Key Bridge, or if you can see the shipyard from a certain vantage point, you will see that what is currently sitting in the dry dock is a very large floating dry dock called the Titan from BAE Systems. It was floated up here from Norfolk, Virginia, to undergo a maintenance effort, and that Titan dry dock is used by the Navy to rehabilitate naval vessels.
Down in Norfolk, yeah.
In Norfolk. So when they're doing refits of ships, in fact, there are pictures of the Titan with two destroyers end on end being worked on. So the fact that we have an asset like the Titan currently sitting in our dry dock, undergoing a major renovation, brings Ferris Point back into supporting the warfighter and supporting America's defense, which that's what they did in World War I and World War II. So
Is
we're just really
that
proud to
where
play
they
that
built
role.
the Liberty ships? Or
It's part of where they built the
part
Liberty
of
ships.
it,
That's
yeah.
correct. They built some over in Curtis Bay.
Curtis Bay,
They
yeah.
built some over at the Dispersed One Shipyard, and it's for us. I thought it was a really proud moment to have the Titan there, and knowing what the Titan's mission is
baby,
to help
yeah.
keep our naval vessels and military afloat. This is great to be part of that again.
Well, let me
and
ask
then
you-
we think that could be a future
So you're
opportunity.
on the water. You have a marine terminal. You have the ship rebuilding or building or whatever
Mm-hmm.
ship stock. Is it an opportunity there for some of the bigger ships to dock there for unloading?
So we can accommodate larger vessels. In fact, we can accommodate vessels that discharge vehicles. We can accommodate vessels that discharge and load bulk materials.
2 minutes hard break.
So we have a pretty active marine terminal right now that welcomes a number of vessels to our site. That handles, again, the bulk material work, the roll-on, roll-off, which the Port of Baltimore, we all should know that. That's the vehicles, the import vehicles.
Take care of them.
Volkswagen set up a 115-acre vehicle processing facility there that just went underway in opening just about a month ago.
Oh.
And they expect to process 150,000 new Volkswagens a year through that facility to serve the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. And that includes all the brands.
So the ships can pull up and dock there and unload the vehicles right there, and they can let them sit for whenever they're going to be generated, wherever they're going.
Yeah, they drive them right up to the a processing facility. So VW owns 115 acres of a processing facility there that they leased, and about 200,000 square feet, 200,000 square feet of processing building. So when you order a car and it gets to the port of destination, there's still another step in getting the car ready for the dealership, and that step is done at the processing facility, putting on all the extra accessories that may have been ordered with the
40
vehicle
seconds.
and getting it ready to send to the dealership so somebody can drive it off the lot.
This is interesting stuff. So anyway, we're going to take a break after our first hour. We'll come back. We have another hour, and we'll talk about some of the other possibilities here, and also some of the companies that are there, which are very interesting. That these companies are there. Some big names, some very big names. I'm Pat McDonough with Valerie McDonough. Aaron Tamarchio, this is Super Citizen Radio. We will be right back after the Unstoppable News.
Ron, this guy from California.
Stay connected with stimulating talk and breaking news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM, Baltimore,
But
and
isn't this the wacko
WCBM.com.
liberal?
Yeah, he's the one that we talked to before. I'll tell him this Trade Point Atlantic all the whole time.
All right, well, I'll talk to him. We always sit and fight with him, but I don't want to talk politics. We're not talking politics.
Clouds Sunday night, low 65, and Monday a mix of clouds, a few showers during the day with a high 84. Tuesday, Sunday.
WCBM is having on the show. Ron Savage speaking news conference.
Richard Wedding at the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Okay.
Have you ever
Thank
considered
you,
a
sir.
career
All right.
radio ad sales? Today, radio career opportunities include internet, streaming,
Yeah,
web
what?
analysis, podcasting, event and consumer sales, just to mention a few. Increase your confidence, knowledge, and marketing sales with radio.
Sure, I would do that.
Whether or not an agreement can be reached remains to be seen, but it's one of the reasons negotiations have been stalled between the Trump administration and congressional Democrats on the next coronavirus relief package.
I believe we're going to get some breakthrough here on some things that we have common ground on, like schools and healthcare, maybe even direct payments, but we're stuck on liability protection, the bailout for these larger states, and then this unemployment incentive to keep people out of work.
Georgia Republican Senator David Perdue on Cavuto Live. And then tensions rising between China and the U.S. over the coronavirus. Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun praises President Trump for being tough on China.
Thank goodness he has taken China on, because their behavior is not the kind of trading partner that the world can live with, and we are the only ones through Trump that have held them accountable.
Braun speaking on Fox and Friends. President Trump heads back on the campaign trail next week, where voters will likely discuss with the president his handling of the coronavirus pandemic. He'll be visiting Michigan, Minnesota, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. America is listening to Fox News.
Fox News Podcasts Network. Download Perino and Steyerwalt. I'll tell you what.
State-run unemployment offices are so antiquated that some people waited, 3 months before they got their first check. So how do they expect them to then calculate a 70% of people whose wages went up and down? And it's kind of a mess. And the Democrats seem to me to have the upper hand here for now.
Well, sure, because Republicans don't have their act together. Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. There's never been a more critical time. Fox News Media is bringing America together. America is watching news and fearless debate on Fox News Channel. We're invested in you from Wall Street to Main Street to your street with Fox Business. America is listening wherever you are, on radio and podcasts, trending the stories you need anytime you want online, and Fox Nation streaming the entertainment that celebrates America. Fox News Media, America's news, and much more.
Former Illinois Governor James R. Thompson has died. Thompson was known as Big Jim during a long career that eventually made him the state's longest-serving chief executive, managing the state through recession years in the 1980s. His wife Jane says that he died last night at a rehabilitation hospital in Chicago. The Chicago Tribune reported Thompson had been suffering heart problems. He was 84. Also in Chicago, protesters are planning a peaceful protest there as the city levels up its police presence.
Protesters plan to march down the Dan Ryan Expressway, but it's billed as a peaceful protest, and the organizers are actively discouraging any type of looting or violence. But city officials here aren't taking any chances after what happened along the Magnificent Mile here, leaving many businesses looted and many more boarded up. Police in Chicago plan to flood the downtown area with 1,000 officers this weekend. The city has created a looting task force in partnership with the FBI, as well as a 20-person unit to mine and monitor social media for any sort of suspicious activity. So if police get reports of looting, they'll deploy rapid response teams. They'll use concrete barriers to block roads, and they'll even use stop strips to flatten car tires.
Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble. And then the issue over how to handle going back to school remains a hot debate throughout the country. In Queen Creek, Arizona, students will return to high school on Monday.
Social distancing, sanitation stations, mask requirements, staggering lunches, opening up open areas of the school to try to separate kids, auditoriums, those types of things.
The school football coach, Joel Anderson, on Fox and Friends.
Right.
Meanwhile, Texas leaders who grappled with coronavirus testing shortages for much of the pandemic are now facing the opposite problem. Not enough takers. The number of coronavirus tests being done each day in Texas has dropped by the thousands in August. The drop comes even as deaths are continuing to climb and just as students are returning to class. I'm Mary Corsetti, and this is Fox News.
Some slow-moving showers and storms expected to roll through the region overnight tonight. Some of that rain could be heavy at times. Lows tonight down to 68. Cloudy with showers for Sunday. Sunday's high 77. Northeasterly breeze. Few clouds Sunday night, low 65. And Monday, a mix of clouds. Few showers during the day with a high 84. Tuesday, sunny 87. Showers and storms return for the week. Richard Wedding with the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Have you ever considered a career in radio ad sales? Today, radio career opportunities include internet, streaming, web analysis, podcasting, event and consumer sales, just to mention a few. Increase your confidence, knowledge, and marketing sales with radio. Don't know anything about ad sales? No worries. If you've got the spark, are a people person, and have the desire to succeed in life, then this is the job for you. Send your resume today to businessmanager@wcbm.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian,
No.
but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then try Babbel. Text TRY to 484848 and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel was created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With
Right.
Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel free. Just text TRY to 484848 and start learning a new language today. That's TRY to 484848. TRY to 484848.
Broadcasting from the WCBM Safe Retirement Solutions studios.
Call Rob Barrowe, 410-266-1120. SafeRetirementSolutions.com.
The views and opinions you hear on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and WCBM.com are not necessarily those of the owners, management, employers, and advertisers of WCBM. But they should be.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Super Citizen Radio on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Pat McDonough here with Valerie McDonough and Aaron Tamarchio. And a different show tonight. I admit it. I concede it, and I'm happy about it. Good news. A lot of good news. A lot of lessons to be learned here. Taking a site that really people weren't sure what was going to happen, and a place that had a history, 30,000 jobs, a great steel mill, one of these things where, and you see it all across the country, songs have been written about it, industrial loss, jobs to China, this and that. And
hey, Caroline, how you doing, baby?
Something where there was skepticism, and there was a lot of unhappiness in the community. And the vision they had in their mind was, well, it's got to be a steel mill. It's got to be a steel mill. And they were all foreign owners, like from different countries. And they, sometimes this was not their first obsession. It was something that they invested in. And they didn't care about the community. They didn't even know where the community was. They didn't even know if there was a community. And a lot of people were misled or not maltreated. So Aaron and his group, they come along. And they understood all this because Aaron's a local guy, and the investors are local guys, and they kind of understood things because there is, even though this is a wide oasis, 3,300 acres, this is big, and it's on the water. Surrounding it are tremendous communities, huge working class communities in Dundalk, Edgemere, Sparrows Point. I mean, these are big traditional communities. And they want to know, quite frankly, what the hell's going on in here. So, Aaron, one of the great jobs that I read about you quite a bit years ago that you did, and I don't know if you were responsible, but you're a local guy, and I know you're sensitive to these things, and you had worked for local government, like you had worked for David, and you knew about community stuff. But you guys, right from the start, started out saying, we're going to talk to the community. We're going to answer their questions. We're going to tell them, and they were very happy. After not everybody right away, but you and now they love you.
They love you.
They do, really.
Thank you, Pat. We're very proud of what we've done with the community, but at first it wasn't easy, and understandably so. I mean, when we first tried to meet with the community and understand who the community leaders were, we were met with a lot of skepticism, and quite understandably so again, because when you had a steel mill that kept going through different owners, those owners making commitments to the community that just were not followed up on, or just did things and never really involved the community in those conversations, they felt shut out, they were skeptical, and there was also an element with the community that they were angry that their steel mill was gone. And we could talk for a whole other show about how all that happened.
There was a great deal of pride in that steel mill, and it was a real unity, community thing. I mean, everybody you knew in Dundalk, Sparrows Point, I have so many friends. I actually worked for Bethlehem Steel at one time when I was going to school, but I didn't work there. I worked at the bar reinforcing shop, which was on Patapsco Avenue in South Baltimore. And I remember I went in there, and I was 20, I think, and I had just had a brand new Mustang. Brand new Mustang convertible. Laura? I was quite the dude, okay? So I go in there, and the job, I mean, it's a union job, starting out in a union job, and I'm telling you, it really paid well, okay? So I look around, and these bar reinforcing rods, they have them in construction, they're powerful. They put them through machines, they bent them and all, and every guy working there, and to me, they were older men, they were 35, 40 years old. They all looked like Popeye the Sailor Man, with the big muscles, right? So I remember my boss, Mr. Napick, he said, well,
you want me to talk about what this subject is?
People I got hired for some reason.
I'm sorry, what did you say? The phone, I'm just telling you.
I was strong. He said, we got a job for you. I remember I got my helmet, and I got the stick jacket. Now, this is in the summertime. It's like now, right? So he says, your job is you're going to that box car over there, and and these rods are coming down
Okay.
in bundles, and you were going to take them.
Okay, you said they're
place
tension
the
in
bundle
everyone?
in the proper place.
Oh man.
I said, and what else do I do? He said, that's all you do. I said, I'm getting all this money, and that's all I do. I said, that's all you do. I said, don't be stupid and be careful. So I'm there for a week. I lost
Okay, all right, Laura.
700 pounds.
You hold on, we'll get you in the air.
I perspired
Thank you.
all morning.
All right, baby, 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 all right, baby.
And this helmet, and I thought to myself, I remembered the wise words of my father. He said, listen, you may not know exactly as a young person what you want to do in life, but you better damn sight know what you don't want to do in life. And the words rang in my ears. I thought, I don't want to do this. So I was there 2 weeks, and I remember it was a Friday, and I got my first check. And I said, Mr. Napick, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. He said, you bought a new car. You're making all this money. You're not coming back. I said, no. I said, I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm free. This is the United States of America, and I'll be damned if I'm going to put another day in that damn boxcar at 110 degrees,
Yeah.
moving these stupid rods around. I mean, there's nothing challenging here. Well, don't suppose it'll be challenging. You know, these guys, they all own their own homes. I said, fine, good. They're old men. They're 35 years old. They're 40. I'm 20. I'm out of here. So I did work for Bethlehem Steel.
Oh, wow. And it was hard work.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Chavez speaking. Who's calling tonight?
Bethlehem Steel, Sparrows Point is an identity for a lot of people.
We're talking about Trade
They
Point
all had
Atlantic.
clubs together. They lived together.
Trade
They
Point
had a
Atlantic.
society down in that area with their boats. They had
Where
their
it's
little yachts.
where the
Not big
steel
yachts,
mill
but
used to be.
working. They were working people,
So
blue collar.
Well, they're putting a big new development, big money into the whole area.
Handle everything. And I think, first of all, you have to be upfront
Oh, right.
and be honest with what you want to do. And we were
All right.
probably what they did want to hear at first was that
Okay, Mark,
Steel
hold on.
wasn't going to come back to Spurs.
Okay.
And for some folks, that angered
It's
them.
like the Colts are not coming back.
Yeah,
But the Ravens are better.
That's right. And I call it kind of the stages of grief, right? You know, when the mill closed.
Yeah.
And then you move, a little bit into anger about what had happened and why it happened.
And you have to paint this picture, and they don't know. They didn't know about Amazon and Volkswagen and Under Armour. Under Armour didn't even exist.
No,
Amazon didn't exist.
And you go to the community association meetings, and they were very skeptical about what could potentially happen there and whether or not we were committed to actually follow through on those commitments. And I could tell you from our ownership, we were committed, 110% long-term owners. This was not a project that was going to be bought, flipped, and moved on. This was
That was
an absolute
important.
commitment to the
That was
community.
important. And the thing, like I said earlier, you guys had a lot of courage, because this was not only a challenge, but there were no guarantees that what we have today, this miracle, it's actually a miracle. There were no guarantees about this.
No, there were no guarantees. There was a lot of risk that was taken. But I think everybody from the community, once they understood what the opportunity was going to be there, they got behind it. The political leaders from all levels of government, we just talked about that earlier, came together. They understood what could happen there. And when we collectively put our minds to make this happen, we were able to really turn around Sparrows Point fairly quickly.
Right.
And not only turn it around fairly quickly, but turn it around into an economy that's really hot for what we're doing right now. Real-time, direct delivery, distribution, logistics, that's the business to be in. And we are right in the mix of building up Sparrows Point as this industry is starting to grow. So to me, I'd say this was a perfect storm. Absolute perfect storm where you had committed capital, local capital, committed for the long term. You had willingness amongst the political officials
Let's see, we got
to
it,
want
huh?
to do something. You had
Bada bing, bada
acceptance
boom, bada
and
boom.
understanding with the community that
Community.
eventually turned into
Yeah.
support. And then you had the market conditions present themselves to successfully build this out with the Amazons, the FedEx, the Under Armours, the Floor & Decors, the Volkswagens, the Gotham Greens, the Illuma Safeway companies. And those are just a quick rambling of some very diverse tenants that are currently there right now.
How is the relationship today with the communities? Now these are big companies, and of course are they doing anything with the communities? Do they do anything with the communities? I know they do stuff. They have their own national things they do. They all do. I mean, Amazon in particular. But is there I know, I wouldn't call it a relationship. I can tell you, I get down around that area. And Johnny Ray, the state senator, Johnny Ray, who's our friend sailing, I mean, he's all over that place. And he can tell you that the project's extremely popular. But are there any programs or anything now between like Amazon or Under Armour and the community itself?
We're working on that. I do think that national companies tend to have a national focus on where they put their philanthropy, but we're trying to just make connections with our tenants to the local community. And one project I think we're going to focus on, hopefully in the near future, is a piece of about a 20-some acre parkland that we set aside with Baltimore County to work on building out a community park.
That would be great.
It's right on the Sparrows Point Peninsula. It's where our old ball field used to be, so we know it's good for parkland. And being able to bring our tenants maybe together to help work on a project for the community. Because, Parks and Rec and league sports are huge in the Dundalk, Essex, Middle River, Edgemere area, and they need space to be able to play.
But in that area, there's not too much of that kind of stuff around in that area. So this would be great for that community that surrounds Trade Point Atlantic.
We think so, and it's waterfront. It's
and that's a big deal.
That's a real big deal. You know, I used to work for Mayor Schaefer, and I remember he dragged me one time down to the harbor, and he said to me, "What's the color of that water?" I said, "I don't know, green, black, I don't know what." He said, "No, it's gold." I said, "Gold?" He said, "Yeah, gold." He said, "You build on the water, around the water, it's gold." Which Don Schaefer was a very smart guy. So you do have a big piece of water. Have you ever considered, is it too early to build like high-rise housing or condos? Or I don't even know if you have that type of space there. Like where you're talking about the ball field. Sure. Because it's a hell of a view. I mean, you're looking out at the river, which is very wide at that point. It's the bay and the bridge, the Key Bridge. So, I mean, so I don't even know if does land exist there that could be done?
Well, I can say you get beautiful sunrises and sunsets at Sparrows Point. So we're privileged to be able to see that. For Sparrows Point, all of our development is really focused on the industrial side. We are we're jobs. We're work. And there are some communities that want to be live, work, play. We're work. And what we're hoping by being a place where people come to work is that the surrounding communities are revitalized as a result of people wanting to live closer to where they work. And these traditional communities that we talked about, that we're very proud of, they're aging. And so what's the future of those communities? Who are the new families that are going to move in and maybe restore and rehabilitate some of the homes that are there?
I think that's going to be big in the future.
And when you have an economic center like what we're trying to do at Trade Point Atlantic, you're feeding that out there. You're feeding the interest in wanting to locate to those communities nearby. So hopefully our activity is encouraging reinvestment in the communities outside the Sparrows Point proper peninsula.
I think one of the things that kind of made me sad years ago was when I thought that I was going to be using the logo Bethlehem Steel or the word Bethlehem Steel because I always grew up with it. I had family that worked there. I had different things, and every Christmas looking at the star. Yeah. Okay, and that was a favorite childhood memory of mine. I thought it was interesting how your branding came up with the logo with the star. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Thanks, Valerie. That's a great story. First of all, we do light the star every year. It's an annual tradition. Back December 1st, 5 o'clock, we will be lighting the Star of Bethlehem, and it's safely secured on our water tower right now. And it's a really cool tradition. I think the community's come out and seen that.
We've been there.
And so we'll be doing that again. And then the impetus for our company's name and logo was, came out of the idea of the star. In fact, our star is the kind of the top version of the 3 points of the Bethlehem Steel star, and those 3 points for us mean land, rail, and sea. And then the color, which is like this orange, this burnt orange, came out of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's called Golden Gate Orange because some of the steel from Bethlehem Steel went to Golden Gate Bridge.
And that's something a lot of people didn't know, but I learned that coming to you.
We put some thought behind it.
Yeah, I was very happy with that.
Yeah, that's great. I love old traditions. It's like at Canton, down in Baltimore City, they have Mr. Bow. The image, Natty Bow, whatever. And that looks great. It's on at night, reminds you of the old days, even though these are the new days. But that's great. Okay, we need to take another break. When we come back, we'll take a call from Mark, and we'll talk about some more interesting things. There's a lot of interesting things going on. We'll talk about coal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, coal. The Chinese are big on coal. We're backing down on coal a little bit. And also, we'll ask the question about the COVID, the virus. Has it had any impact at all on your situation?
What?
And also, the president wants to disengage from China. Wants to back off from China. He's worried about China. We'll talk to you about if that means anything at all to what you're doing. So we'll be right back.
Hey, little cobra, don't you know you're gonna shut up
now? What's this lady talking about tents in her neighborhood?
She wants to know what to do. She's probably talking about the protesters around her neighborhood.
Wait a minute. Go ahead. What is it?
She said people are building tents around her area. I don't know if it's for a protest or what.
What is she talking about tents? She's not talking about the tents over at Vince's Crab House, is she?
No, she said her neighborhood. She didn't say Vince's at all.
Where does she live, Ron? Ask her where she lives. What she's really talking about. I don't want to get into some controversial.
Hey, Lauren, what area do you live at? Oh, Middle River? Okay, this is, what tents in what area? Where do you mean? Because Pat's going to pick you up next. Oh, the firehouse? Okay, all right, thank you. Hold on, please.
Yeah, so what is it, Ron?
When your vehicle needs help, Jeff, you said around a firehouse
is the place to go. No, we're not talking about that. We're only talking about trade points. Tell them call in next week. We're working on it.
Jeff services all vehicles, including cars, SUVs, trucks, both medium and light duty. And there are always specials available at Jeff's Automotive Service.
Again, the McDONOUGH show.
Just call 410-682-5700. Jeff's Automotive Services is located.
Yeah, it is. Little cover, man. You know that.
At 313 Mace Avenue. Jeff's is the winner of the Best Automotive Service Award for 2019 by the Avenue Newspaper Readers Poll. Jeff's offers 10% discounts to all seniors and active military members, and would like to thank our military members for their service.
Right.
Jeff's Automotive Services has a name you can trust.
Oh, that'll be great. Hey, if you want, man, give me a call tomorrow. I'd like around 3 or 4.
5700 Jeff's Automotive Services.
Oh, no, I'll be home.
Individual rates, coverage offers, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Some available in all areas.
Yeah.
If you're a small business owner, you're probably looking for ways to stretch your dollar these days. So, saving up to 30% on workers' comp insurance could mean more now than ever. That's why you owe it to yourself to check your rate with Pi Insurance. With Pi, it's easy to find out if you're leaving money on the table. Just get an online quote in 3 minutes on your computer or smartphone. Simply go to trypi.com and see if you're
all right, I'll tell you what, call
workers'
3
comp.
o'clock and I'll take the
Pi Insurance was created exclusively for small businesses. Built to make workers' comp work for you with a simple online experience and trusted service. Pi is rated excellent on Trustpilot by customers who say they make getting insurance as easy as pie.
Hey,
What
Laura?
are you waiting for? Find out today if you can
he said
save up to
they're
30%
working on
for
the
your
tent
workers' comp
situation now.
insurance. Ask
And
your
if you can
insurance
call in
agent for
next
Pi
week.
Insurance or get a quote in 3 minutes at
Yeah, that's to tell them how the
trypi.com. That's
situation turned out.
trypie.com.
If you can call in next week about the situation
If
with
you've
the tent.
lost a loved one,
So he
you
said
know
he's
that
gonna
those
call
difficult
them and
days
work
ahead
it
can
out
tear a
and see what
family
he
apart.
said.
Siblings don't tend to fight over money. It's usually something sentimental.
Oh, thank you,
like
man.
that autographed Babe Ruth baseball you keep downstairs. Your strength can keep a family together
Ain't gonna
today.
do blood and all
And
in my hand.
keep your family together for years to come. Learn why living trusts are a popular tool here in Maryland. It's used to prevent the court from publicly listing your household contents and more when you pass away. Let your family stay in control. Trusts are also a great tool to safely leave special items like firearms to your children in trust without the need for a public disclosure. Learn more at the live online webinar presented by Stouffer Legal. Call Stouffer Legal today and reserve your seat at 443-470-3599. 443-470-3599 for the live webinar presented by Stouffer Legal. Or you can register online at TowsonWorkshop.com.
We all know the 7 dirty words, but could there be one more?
Hydroxychloroquine. A doctor used to be free to prescribe it to you.
Mark Levin.
This standard anti-malaria drug.
Yeah, some America with lonely people, isn't it?
Accidentally, as physicians around the world found it useful for treating patients. Oh, they've got all kinds of plans for you, each and every one of you. And they've only shown us a little bit of ankle.
Don't miss the great one. Weeknights at 10 on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
And now back to Super Citizen Radio on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The Super Citizen Radio station and network, and Valerie McDonough and Pat McDonough and Aaron DeMarchio. Fascinating story tonight about a real success story in our backyard, and very interesting. This is creative leadership, working with the community. But let's take a call from Mark and see what is on his mind. Mark, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Chicago. It sounds like a very good idea down in the new community that you're talking about. I have a question. What is the people need to travel to and from, whether they're living there, working there? So I just want to know, is there a lot of mass transportation accessibility down there? What's happening with that?
Absolutely. We're pretty well located just southeast of Baltimore City, right off of I-695, so a great highway access. And we do have a local bus line that is connected to Sparrows Point, and it's a bus line that we're looking to expand to different parts of Baltimore County. And that's the main modes of getting around, and it seems to be successful. We have about 8,000 people coming there every day.
That's huge.
And for work. So.
Well, here's the thing, Mark. Here's something you can think about. This is where, in your community, this is where what Trade Point Atlantic is connected to your community. We have the Pimlico Racetrack place, the area, the new development, right? And
right.
And this is the similarities are amazing here. First of all, the city wanted to fight the governor and everybody else about what to do with this site where the not Sparrows Point, where the the racetrack is. So finally, I think his name is Alan Rifkin. He's an attorney, and he was an attorney for the racetrack and the racing people. And he came up with an idea and a compromise. Now, I know Jack Young, and I like him, but he's been a terrible mayor, and he worked himself out of a job. But the fact of the matter is that he did listen to this proposal. So Alan Rifkin came up with a kind of a very creative proposal, sort of creative like Trade Point Atlantic, where they're going to keep the track there for a very small period of time. They're not going to have racing all the time like they normally do, and they're going to do something to fix the track up. But they have this huge open space. Now, I don't know how many acres this is. It's not like Trade Point Atlantic, but it's big.
Right.
And the question here now, the example is, can the concerned parties, the stakeholders in the city and the state, can they come together and accomplish what Trade Point Atlantic accomplished? Because Trade Point Atlantic is a classic model, an example of taking nothing and turning it into something that where there's a lot of skeptics in the neighborhood, there is a lot of concern. You know, like Aaron said, this was a steel plant. We're steel people. Well, this was a racetrack. We're racetrack people. No, you're not. You're jobs people. You know, we're not just hiring jockeys. We want to hire people for real jobs. And that's over in your area, Mark. And that's where I think people can look to what TradePoint accomplished and say, can we do that here?
I will look into it. I'll see if my community association, which is above, borders right at Northern Parkway, what we will do about it once we start getting together again next month with Hashem. And we'll, would you or somebody from TradePoint be interested in coming up to speak to our community association?
Well, I don't know. It's up, Aaron, he can tell the story, but basically I think it is an example because I know the people of the area. I know a lot of people in the area, and they're thinking to themselves, what can we really do here? I just say that TradePoint Atlantic, it's not exactly the same, but the character and the traits are the same. You have to have a vision, you have to politically work together, and you can accomplish something. There is something there. I think it is already an enterprise zone. I think the city already designated it an enterprise zone.
Okay. All right, I will check into it.
Yeah, Mark, we're happy to come out and talk to you about how to make sure that you have a successful partnership.
But you can't have Aaron. We're not going to let him go. Can't have Aaron to market. So, the coal. We mentioned the coal. Now, what's the deal on the coal?
So, TradePoint is a multi-commodity terminal for bulk materials. In fact, the terminal, the marine terminal that was there, supported the import of coal and iron ore to run the coke ovens and the blast furnaces for the steel mills. So we were importing.
I see.
So that's why they had a deep water port already there, because you had to bring in the raw material for the steelmaking operation. We were used to handling bulk material. We've diversified that a lot more. And in fact, what's now being exported out is coal. And coal is a pretty large export for the Port of Baltimore as far as
Now, when they export, okay, so the ships come in,
yep,
they load up, and they go wherever the heck they're going. So in the United States, we're cutting back on coal, or we're doing what we call clean coal.
Mm-hmm.
China is big on coal. China's using a lot of coal, and not all of it is clean coal. That's why you can't walk around without a mask in downtown Beijing. But this president has reached the conclusion that we've got to reset our relationship economically with the Chinese, because over like 30 years now, they've taken advantage of us. And it doesn't mean we can't have a relationship. Doesn't mean we can't maybe even have a good relationship at some point. But things have to change. Now, does that impact your organization or plans in any way?
It does, in some ways. TradePoint is a global logistics center, so we are very active in global trade, and global trade does impact a lot of the commodities that we handle. So when there is a tariff conversation, or there's certain stress with other countries that maybe those raw materials are coming from, we could see it. We see a slowdown in those particular products, and to slow down at the port. And what also is important to know is those raw materials, when they enter our port, they're being moved somewhere upstream to be turned into something. They're the building blocks of a manufacturing process that's happening somewhere else in the country. Whether it's raw aluminum, or gypsum, or salt, or all of those things get used somewhere else into some kind of a manufacturing process. So when we talk these ideas of tariffs and how international trade is impacted, there's a supply chain inside the United States that depends on these raw materials to be able to manufacture the products that we do.
Yeah, and that's a big concern about that. The president and the Democrats too have talked about the supplies that are needed, like to develop our cell phones, the rare minerals that are in China, and not only China but some other places. And we've really made a mistake. We've cut off and lost our supply chains where we had that independently in the United States, and we've really got to restore that, or we at least have to place it in companies, or countries actually, that are allies or reliable. Now, the virus is a big deal, obviously. I think, and I hope, pray that within the next couple of months, I think things are going to change. These therapeutics are coming along; they're very strong, and my God, there's so many. It's amazing too, the modernization and the intellect that the human race develops for developing vaccines. I read today, like, India is doing 4 vaccine possibilities. The Russians say they already have a vaccine, but they're the Russians. What the hell's that mean? The Chinese are doing stuff. We have so many and one of the great things the president has done, that, of course, his people that don't like him will never give him credit, but he said in the beginning, and I remember he said it, nobody quoted him, he said he wanted to use the great liberal Democrat Franklin Roosevelt as his example during World War II, where Roosevelt made the Ford manufacturing company make tanks.
2 minutes.
Right? And he made the Boeing people make bombers. He put the whole country on a war zone footing, and Trump has done that. Trump has united the government with McDONOUGH and other private companies, and he's brought them together, and I think that's going to help with these vaccines. Now, during the Spanish flu, which I was here in 1920.
I certainly don't look at that.
Well, good living. But anyway, during the Spanish flu, there was very little development at all regarding vaccines. They didn't even know about it. The Spanish flu just decided one day to get up and leave. And it didn't really come out of Spain, so it was misnamed. You know, it's kind of funny, they criticized the president for calling it the China flu. The other day he was talking, and one of the reporters said, "Why do you call it the China flu?" He said, "Because it came from China." Okay? That's where it came from. So, has that had an effect at all on what you guys do?
Actually, COVID has had a very different effect than most other industries. We've seen an uptick in our interest in companies wanting to look at Scourge Point. Many of our building and tenant operations have continued through COVID. We were deemed an essential business by the governor and through Department of Homeland Security guidelines when you're importing raw materials, you're importing product, and then our companies that are located there are distributing that. So when you're part of the supply chain, which Trade Point Atlantic is a platform for, we're full bore in operations, and our construction continues to happen on site to meet the deadlines that our tenants set for us, because they have a supply chain program that's dependent on a real-time delivery of our development project.
And as you pointed out earlier, you have 8,000 people.
8,000 people, so we didn't skip a beat, and a lot of that, I think, I give credit to the state of Maryland and having a very good, solid, reliable approach to how they reacted to COVID. To Baltimore County are keeping the operations going. We had permits and inspections occurring right in the middle of COVID happening to make sure that we met the timelines, the very aggressive timelines that we had in our building development program. So it's been really good. And then there's an interest right now from companies wanting to locate. And I think COVID stressed supply chains for a lot of companies. I think companies really understood where their weaknesses were in their supply chains. And even before COVID, they were wanting to, I'm sure, understand how they can get closer to their customers. So knowing that their supply chains were stressed, that they're already making plans to try to figure out a way to get closer to their customers, they're wanting to now invest in industrial facilities to help them do that. And that's what Trade Point Atlantic is going to be really good at.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, come back for our final, believe it or not, segment. And you were talking in your remarks to business community in the last time we saw you, something about organic produce, right?
Yeah.
You were talking about that. And I think you mentioned a pad-ready strategy. I know what that means.
We will talk about that when we get back, and that pad-ready strategy is part of the follow-on on the COVID conversation we're having.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we will be right back. I'm Pat McDonough with Valerie McDonough. This is Super Citizen Radio. We'll be right back.
Some slow-moving showers and storms expected to roll through the region overnight tonight. Some of that rain could be heavy at times. Lows tonight down to 68. Cloudy with showers for Sunday, with Sunday's high 77. Northeast.
Hallelujah, baby.
Few clouds Sunday night, low 65. And Monday, a mix of clouds, a few showers during the day with a high 84. Tuesday, sunny, 87. Showers and storms return midweek. Richard Wedding at the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Are you always apologizing for your dog's behavior? Need help communicating? At K9 Concepts, we can solve your problems. The answer to your problems is a phone call away. Call 410-477-2000 for a free demo evaluation. Call 410-477-2000. Obedience, protection, handicapped assistance, boarding, grooming, puppy preschool. Visit K9Concepts.com. The best for your dog. Call 410-477-2000.
Hi, Garner Roofing here to let you know we're open if you need us during these challenging times. Some things simply can't wait, so we're making it safe and easy to get the roof, siding, or gutter services you need for your home or business. We're offering free no-contact consultations for customers who prefer. We can measure your property using aerial measurement technology and email you exact pricing. When you're ready to move forward, you can even sign your contract and make payments online. As always, we never use high-pressure sales tactics, and our everyday pricing beats most competitors' sales prices. We understand money is tight for a lot of people right now, so we're taking an additional $1,000 off our already low pricing on whole house roof and siding projects. Combine this with no payments or interest for 12 months, and you can get that new roof, siding, or gutter system you need now, but take your time to pay for it. Call Garner Roofing at 410-753-2322 or on the web at garnerroof.com. MHIC 97098.
Can you retire right now? Or how about 1, 2, or 3 years from now? These days, that can be a tough question to answer. Mike Kinnett, Ryan Herbert, and the team at Pro Status Financial can show you how much guaranteed income you can start to generate for retirement with a lifetime income quote. Imagine if you could retire comfortably right now with what you have saved and not have to worry about the market, the economy, or anything else that can put your retirement dollars at risk. That's retiring with confidence. Call Pro Status Financial now for your no-charge lifetime income quote at 866-597-1040. That's 866-597-1040. And on your computer at ProStatusFinancial.com. Know for sure you can retire before your last day at work with Pro Status Financial. 866-597-1040. Advisory services offered through Pro Status Financial Advisors Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Insurance licensed in Maryland.
Listen every Sunday from 6:05 to 6:20 a.m. for a broadcast from the internationally known St. Jude Shrine in Baltimore. St. Jude is the patron saint of despair and hopeless cases. Join us in prayer every Sunday from 6:05 to 6:20 a.m. on WCBM.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, things may have gotten tougher lately. You're probably looking for savings wherever you can find them. So you may be surprised to hear that most small businesses overpay for workers' compensation insurance. Many insurance companies just aren't set up to give small businesses the savings they deserve. But Pi Insurance was created to change that. We serve small businesses exclusively, and we can save you up to 30%. You owe it to yourself to find out if you're overpaying. Just get a quote right now from your computer or smartphone at trypi.com. Pi Insurance is a no-brainer with our simple online experience and outstanding service. We are rated excellent on Trustpilot by our customers, who tell us Pi is fast, affordable, and easy to work with. As easy as pie, in fact. Savings matter now more than ever. Isn't it worth taking 3 minutes to find out if you're overpaying for workers' comp? Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then try Babbel. Text TRY to 484848 and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel free. Just text TRY to 484848 and start learning a new language today. That's TRY to 484848. TRY to 484848.
If you came across a child struggling with hunger,
Hello, everybody.
recognize them.
How are
Their
you?
clothes, their age,
Oh,
do they
yeah.
speak? Would you recognize a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school, not because he's a boy, but because he's hungry? Or a 2-year-old girl who cries all night, not because she's sad, but because she went to bed without enough to eat? Or maybe a 9-year-old boy who hopes their friend invites him to sleepover, not for fun, just so we can have dinner. Or a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks over lunch, so her friends won't know she doesn't have anything to eat. I am the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day, but never knew were hungry. I am child hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerinAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
And now back to Super Citizen Radio on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Okay, we are back. Valerie, am I forgetting about announcing anything?
Yes, you are.
I want to announce the event.
What event?
Okay.
I'm having an event on September the 2nd.
No, don't want to announce it. Don't want to announce it. I'll tell you why later. It's doing well anyway. It doesn't need
I'm
announcements,
dying.
okay? Maybe overcrowded.
I'm dying.
So I don't want to announce it. But the thing I wanted to announce, our television show is on August the 30th.
Oh, okay.
We do a television show for St. Clair Broadcasting. It's on once a month, and it's on prime time. It's on 10 o'clock. It's on Comcast. It's on Verizon. On everything. It's the only conservative show in the state of Maryland. And it's really well done. So that's on August the 30th, and I wanted to mention that because we can mention that again next week, also. So I did want to mention that, but I wanted to get back to Aaron Tamarchio, and I know in his remarks he mentioned where was it? What was I talking about? The organic something or organic something.
Yes, we did. That's one of our tenants. I think we're pretty proud of. Gotham Greens. They constructed a 90,000 square foot greenhouse to hydroponically grow organic produce and greens. In fact, you can go to a Whole Foods store and pick up a bag of leafy lettuce and microgreens from Gotham Greens that were grown at Sparrows Point. And I like this story because the fact that you can go from making steel to growing organic produce in a matter of 6 years, I think tells a lot about the transformation that's happening down there at Trade Point.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And the diversity of the type of companies and tenants that are interested in coming there. And it's a great story, and they have a great product, and the building is really neat looking. So if you ever try to find Peninsula Expressway at night, it lights up.
I want to come by and look at that.
I'll go into it. I mean, that would be a tourism attraction.
I'm sure they would love to have tourism just to see the amount of produce that they're pushing through there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is an amazing story, and it's still being written.
It's still being written.
It's still being written.
We're halfway through it. So
I'm wondering if they could have like a little place where they can sell to the public.
Fresh
produce. I mean, with all those people working down there,
it's one of your businesses.
I'm sure would really come in and buy. Patarakis used to do that with his bakery. He used to have a little bakery down there, and
that's a great idea. If we build out a retail a little bit.
I bet it would. And do you think that it's 90,000 square feet? That's big. Now, do you think that's going to grow? That's a proper word. Will it get bigger? That sounds like it has possibilities.
The one thing about I think Sparrows Point is that you can grow. easily. The amount of space that's there, tenants are able to come to our facility. They're able to grow and expand their operations fairly easily. They're able to utilize the different modes of transportation to get their product to their customers, from our deepwater port, direct rail access, direct highway access. So you can be very nimble and adjust to the market and how your company wants to grow.
That hydroponics is for the future. I mean, that could be real big now. They might someday take all 3,300 acre.
Hydroponic farming, it's great.
All right, let's talk to another Mark. And this Mark is actually in Reisterstown. Mark, good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my telephone call. I love your show. I listen to it every Saturday night. I like it, Super Citizen Radio there. And my grandfather worked for Bethlehem Steel for his whole life, so I was glad that you talked about that. And Baltimore's a beautiful city. It's got a lot of rich history. And I was wondering, you had just announced that you're going to have a show on August 30th.
Yes.
And I want to write that down. The cable companies have so many channels. Do you know what channel?
Well, let me ask you this. What channel do you have? What cable company do you have?
Verizon Fios.
Verizon is 46, channel 46.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that, and I'll be looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Yay!
The other one was the pad ready strategy.
Yes.
Now, what is that?
So we are prepping sites for ready, quick development. And tenants look at coming to Sparrows Point. They have a timeline in mind upon which they need to get their building sited and built and operational. Because those buildings are part of that company's supply chain infrastructure. So timing the building's development and operational capacity is key to making sure that those supply chains are not disrupted. So to help encourage these companies to locate here and to know that we can get their building built in time, we are prepping several pads to get it ready to go to build the suit if they were to come and to tell us what they want to build.
They're move-in ready.
They're move-in ready, and we're investing money ahead of time to meet the market. And back to our COVID conversation, there is a heightened interest in industrial real estate. There is an interest in many companies wanting to reinvest in their supply chains, wanting to get closer to their customers so they can either do a direct-to-delivery or make their supply chains a little more efficient, where they put product closer to the markets that they're wanting to serve. And Sparrows Point, Trade Point Atlantic is the perfect place to do that. And we believe that we're pretty bullish on the market right now. I mean, I know we look at our economy and where things are. I can tell you right now, we're very bullish at Trade Point Atlantic on the economy. We're very bullish on Baltimore. And we believe that we'll be able to get those pads built and ready for hopefully new customers and new jobs.
Pardon me. One of the things I think I had heard you, Aaron, mention it, but I'm not sure. Something related to the trains, which I know is a problem in downtown Baltimore, getting the supply trains through the tunnels. That they have to be dug out or expanded or something, and that may have an effect on Trade Point Atlantic.
You're talking about the Howard Street Tunnel project, which anybody who is working in and around the Port of Baltimore knows that this has been a critical infrastructure need for our Baltimore, for Baltimore. And everybody finally came around, got the support and funding needed to make the improvements. And what that allows us to do is double stack rail cars through the tunnel, which helps increase the productivity for the Port of Baltimore.
Doubles it.
You can double it if you're sending product and you need to send more of it on the same train. You can do that by double stacking. I mean, we're talking about the Howard Street Tunnel, which is a Civil War era tunnel.
Yeah.
So that tells us how old the infrastructure is there. So the investment in allowing this tunnel to be able to move double stack cargo like most other major ports can puts Baltimore, I think, back on the competitive advantage and allows our port to be able to continue to grow. And as our port grows, Trade Point Atlantic can continue to grow. The company I mentioned earlier, Floor & Decor, they built a 1.5 million square foot facility that is dedicated to receiving product that's coming in through the Port of Baltimore. This is new product that's coming into the Port of Baltimore and then being trucked over to the Trade Point Atlantic warehouse to then be broken down and distributed out to Floor & Decor's market that they're building out in the Northeast.
Now, who are they? What do they do?
They are a specialty flooring provider. So think about Home Depot, but just for flooring. So any type of flooring you want, from ceramics to hardwoods to tilings and all that, they have it.
And it comes into Trade Point Atlantic.
Comes into Trade Point.
They manage it and distribute it. And with that changing it. Now the tunnel, I think, has been settled. This was another one of these things for years, going back and forth. And I believe the private sector and the government have come together to get this job done.
Yep.
So this is huge.
It's amazing what we can accomplish when we can agree on things and come together.
Yeah, it is quite amazing, and people do come together sometimes.
Yes, we do.
Especially around economic issues. Jobs are not a four-letter word. I mean, people are always, jobs solve a lot of problems. Jobs make a lot of people happy and a lot of families happy. And if you can work together on things, and like I say, that is what is so great about Trade Point Atlantic. It's nonpartisan. It was a vision. It was a huge failure. It was disruptive and troubling to the people of that community. And I'll have to be honest with you. I mean, I've known you a long time, but I remember as I was in the legislature and in county government, getting started on this thing, I thought to myself, boy, this is huge. I mean, I don't know, these guys, this is too much. They're never, and like we visit you now, and it's just amazing.
30 seconds.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What businesses down where you are hiring?
We have a job section on our website, tradepointatlantic.com /jobs, or you can go to the menu and see jobs, and we are actively posting available jobs from our tenants.
So there you go. Valerie, you asked the best question, the most important question related to people listening in the last 30 seconds. So thank you very much.
And Pat, if people want to know what's going on at Trade Point Atlantic, visit our website, tradepointatlantic.com, and you can take a virtual tour of everything that's going on.
All right, Aaron,
Stimulating talk and breaking news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM, Baltimore, and WCBM.com. Investigating the mail. I'm Richard Jordan. Fox News. President Trump is backing the head of the U.S. Postal Service after critics
Valley Henry, baby. How you doing? Good to see all my friends. Well, see you all next week. Take care and stay dry.
Louis DeJoy, he is the Trump appointee as Postmaster General, and it's important to point out that the Inspector General of the U.S. Post Office is investigating some potential changes. There is a genuine concern from many Americans that they are going to have their ballots lost in the mail. They're not going to make it on time. Millions of Americans are expected to vote by mail. Several states will not even accept postmarked ballots after Election Day.
Fox's David Spuns.